The first 3 weeks of war marked the longest I've spent in probably my entire life without listening to heavy metal. And of course, it's not really a big deal, but after I actually realized it and finally did it, I understood that even during such horrible times for me personally and for my country, there is still some place in my life for personal little pleasures, and heavy metal, being my favorite style of music, is of course one of them. And so in the end of last week, me and my family, we actually moved from one location to another in the western part of Ukraine, because I personally wanted to be closer to a warehouse with which I work, for bringing supplies in Ukraine for Ukrainian army. And since we finally were in a city and not in a remote village, somewhere far away in the mountains, I actually took advantage of that location and I did something which I never thought I'd do during a war. And in fact, I actually thought that it would be very inappropriate to do so during wartime. I got a haircut and trimmed my beard. Okay, so a day before, I actually looked at myself in the mirror and I realized that in addition to feeling like shit because there is actually a war going on in my country, I also look like shit. And I once again remember that Facebook post that I saw from one of the psychologists who is helping out people, during this wartime in Ukraine. And that person actually emphasized that during the wartime, it is extremely important for everyone to do something that would get the economy going. That's the first goal. And then the second goal is to do something that will actually make you feel better about yourself. Okay, so that psychologist actually suggested a very clever way of checking whether you should or should not do something during the wartime. Every time you want to do something, but you feel like it is inappropriate to do so during the wartime, ask yourself who would get harmed if you would do that and who would benefit if you would not. And the craziest thing is when it comes to taking care of yourself, when it comes to drinking coffee in a coffee place or something like that, you actually realize that the only people who would benefit from that is the economy of your country and yourself. And so in no way would getting a haircut for any person in Ukraine would actually help Russians, rather the opposite. And so I allowed myself to spend a little money and extra time on that. And you know what? The effect was exactly the same as it was after I listened to heavy metal for the very first time in 3 weeks. I became way more productive on, doing my volunteer job for Ukrainian army. And it actually may sound very, very silly for someone who is watching this and has never experienced it, but I've realized one thing. During the times of such enormous stress and war, believe me, is a fucking stressful time here, carving out time for the things you like and carving out time for the things that will potentially make you feel better about anything, because by doing that, you actually help out your country much more than if you are staying miserable all the time and just feel pity for yourself. So guys, everyone, by all means, I hope that none of you will ever have to experience anything like that. But if you are ever in a stressful situation similar to this one thing I realized on how to keep yourself sane is to actually take care of yourself, whether it's, taking care of the way you look or listening to your favorite music, whatever it is for you. And I assume that for most of you who are, who know me from the Metal Pilgrim channel, it is listening to heavy metal music. So all of you listen to heavy metal. This will actually make you a better person. But just remember that the clearer your head is, the more productive you are on a front line. And this, by all means, is a very encouraging thought. So guys, thank you so much for sticking with me. I'll be giving some of these updates on what's going on, with me personally and with, everything going on in Ukraine on our second channel, MP2, and we'll hopefully try to resume making some heavy metal episodes on our main channel, Metal Pilgrim, just because once again I realized that this is what gives me joy, and I'll try to carve out some time. I don't promise to be releasing them regularly, but I'll try to carve out some time and release from now and then, several heavy metal episodes on the Metal Pilgrim channel. So guys, thank you so much for watching, for sticking with me. Please support Ukraine. We will prevail. Slava Ukraini!